Hey guys, Davison here. My name is Davison and this is Davison After Dark, a live interactive talk show where I talk about what's trending in the news and I discuss it with you from my living room straight to your living room. Now we're going early again for I think the third day in a row. I previously talked about PewDiePie's privated, which I thought was a striked video, but it turned out that it was just force privated until he fixed some issues, but we'll get to that later. Then I went, of course, live yesterday discussing Logan Paul's return to YouTube. Again, about a deleted video that received a strike. And now it's about another deleted video, but this time it is Casey Neistat's vlog about his decision to leave Beme. Now, maybe this comes as no surprise to certain people because for all intents and purposes, Casey has been pretty silent about his involvement with Beme since probably, I would say, the summer before last. So we haven't heard really like, oh, this is the amazing things that I'm about to, or these are the amazing things that I'm about to do for CNN. We are launching a live interactive platform that anyone can join and leave 15-second video responses to news reports that we create, because that's what Beme was supposed to be. And I think most of you had no idea. Like, did any of you have any idea that Beme was supposed to be a platform maintained by CNN wherein they would report on the news in a really millennial friendly, casual way, and then you could leave a 15-second video response? I mean, I never got the memo. I sort of suspected that's what was coming based on Beme as a standalone app before it was acquired by CNN. But because Casey had been so silent and because so little content has actually been uploaded to the Beme YouTube channel, and I bet you also, you guys didn't even know that there was a Beme YouTube channel, it sort of should have been obvious that Casey was about to leave. Now, the reasons for Casey deleting the video are absolutely unclear. It seems like Casey talked very frankly, because I acquired a copy of the deleted video, very frankly, very honestly, you know, in a way that was like very emotionally mature about the mutual decision to part ways. Casey said basically that he was leading a large team of producers, but that unfortunately he didn't feel like he could be himself. And people rarely talk about this in society, that in so much as your salary matters at your job, your emotional health matters at your job. Now, maybe that's something that is a question of only privileged people have that ability to think of their emotional and mental health, which is seriously a problem, perhaps in a capitalist, non-socialist society. But someone like Casey, who is privileged, who did receive a lot of money from the acquisition, whose own projects are still getting funded and he's still getting sponsored left, right, and center. He had the luxury to decide, hey, this isn't who I am as a creator. I'm holding this project back. Plus, he said he had to be accountable to upper management. When you're acquired by a production company, you can no longer call the shots. Like, say Davison After Dark was acquired by CNN. Well, they probably wouldn't want me to shoot in front of this fan wall, despite the fact that it's awesome and you guys are a part of it. They would probably bring me into a studio and they would probably tell me what stories I had to cover every single day, which is normal because CNN has procedures and they have policies and they know after how many years of CNN being in existence what works and what doesn't, even if it's online. So I think that Casey Neistat couldn't handle the fact that he was no longer the captain of the ship. And he also showed signs of kind of falling out of love with what he was doing, in that he changed his appearance so drastically. Like, he did offer the explanation on his previous vlog that the reason why he bleached his hair was because his cute little daughter Francine requested that daddy look like Francine. But he also grew his beard out since this, you know, sort of really discussed trip that he took to the tropics with his wife. And, you know, he didn't look anymore to me like an executive. So I sort of wonder if Casey intentionally made things sort of less and less productive at CNN and Beme until the point where they just didn't really feel he had value, and then he could argue the case he didn't have value, so they could mutually end the contract, as opposed to him getting outright fired and requiring a massive amount of severance, or him quitting and receiving nothing, or if anything, owing CNN money for terminating the contract early. But yeah, it's very mysterious as to why the video disappeared. My apologies about the lighting. For some reason, it is not being friendly today. It's because I've got so much light, I think, coming in from here. Maybe CNN watched his video and just determined, like, we don't want you being so frank about the reasons why you left. You're still the executive producer of the Beme YouTube channel. This is going to confuse people. You didn't get our permission to release a vlog discussing the truth about this. So that's why he had to take the video down. Did any of you watch the video of Casey Neistat announcing that he was departing from Beme? Does this surprise any of you? And I guess I'm going to say hi to the room. And if you just join me, I will be repeating what I'm talking about. Obviously, the title is up. Casey Neistat, it was announced today, is leaving Beme, and he's leaving CNN. The Beme YouTube channel will live on. Casey Neistat uploaded a vlog wherein he discussed the reasons for his departure, which basically boiled down to creative dissatisfaction and not realizing that you can't take an artist and stuff them in a corporation and expect them to flourish necessarily. He underestimated the fact that he was going to be a producer instead of an artist who could just upload whatever, whenever, and get on his boosted board. I mean, when you're in meetings and you're basically planning out what kind of content's going to go into a very predictable system, it becomes a very repetitive executive job as opposed to an open, free, sporty, creative exploration that is also somehow immensely lucrative if you're Casey Neistat. So I get it. But I admire him for taking a risk. I also think that he made that choice because he wanted to make sure his investors made some money back, because he had a lot of investors that were invested in the Beme app who were not going to get their money back unless it was acquired by someone else. So I think he achieved that goal. And the people that worked on Beme, still, a lot of them still have their jobs, though he did allude to the fact that there are going to be people on the Beme production side for the YouTube channel that are going to unfortunately lose their jobs. So I'm going to go say hi to the audience. So hello to Moman, hi to Audio Vox, hello to AJ, hello to Danny, hello to Sean, hello to Raspergu, hello to Chris, and hello to Gaming Central and Steppy. So this video hasn't gone out to a lot of people, which is actually surprising to me. So it's just mainly my audience that always watches me that are here. Maybe we'll get other people showing up. YouTube actually changed its platform today, and I have to put geolocation on my live streams, which it's a little disturbing when YouTube suggests to you to input the geolocation of your house. No, thank you. That is not going to happen. I am opting out of that change, YouTube. Hi, Blind Fox. Yeah, I hope that this is showing up in search. Can one of you guys check whether or not Neistat leaving Beme and CNN, my live stream, is showing up in search or not? Because it's really weird. Why would they do that with lives? Well, they want to. They said they only want to recommend my streams to people primarily within my geographic location, which is YouTube. The reason why I started YouTube is because I have global reach. It's not so that a guy 2 houses down from me can show up to my live stream. You feel me, bros? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's going to improve my numbers. I hope so. I mean, if there's an earthquake in Montreal, I'll be the top of the search results. It might, again, be because people were abusing of the system. Okay, so, well, I mean, although me asking you guys if it's showing up in search, you would have to probably go incognito because you guys are already subscribers, so I'm already going to be favored in your search results. I don't know if you guys knew that. Your search results will change based on your watch history and your subscriptions on YouTube, so search results are never the same across the board or geographic locations. So yes, the kids left, Stephen. It's actually all of my regular viewers. I don't see any newbies here right now. Okay, so I believe that Blind Fox said something about CNN. No, it was Audio Vox, not Blind Fox. You guys both have names that end in X's. Guys, this shadow is so driving me crazy. Can we fix this? Hold on a second. Maybe that's a little bit better. So AudioVox said, I can only assume Casey Neistat had a non-disclosure agreement, and they nicely reminded him of that agreement. I think so. Because otherwise, why would he all of a sudden take it down? Though, I mean, like I said before at the outset of this broadcast, I mean, videos are now getting taken down left, right, and center on YouTube. If they think you have deceptive tags, and it used to be you could be creative with your tags as long as they were mostly accurate. Now they're like, any little thing that's like, well, we can't justify this. They'll like, if you're a big partner, they'll force private your video, which means that nobody can watch it. You can't open it until you enter into an email discussion with partner support, which I actually think is a good thing, because that means that instead of getting strikes, you just get delayed. And usually most content, even if you're bigger, it can afford to be delayed. Something like this, I suppose, can't, because nobody's going to care about Casey Neistat leaving Beme, I'm sorry to say, tomorrow. Like, nobody's going to care. They're going to be like, yay, some guy that we watched was at a job. He's not at a job. He's still on YouTube. Or that job anymore. He's still on YouTube. Big frickin' deal. But yeah, YouTube's really making things a lot more challenging. So I don't know if that played any role in Casey Neistat's video disappearing. But I imagine the most sensible explanation is that, yes, as AudioVox said, he had a non-disclosure agreement, which means an agreement that he couldn't talk about, you know, the reasons for his departure. And so he was told that, could you please take this down? Or maybe something changed. Maybe he's no longer going to be the executive producer at the Beme or on the Beme YouTube channel. By the way, I went to the Beme YouTube channel and I really wasn't that impressed with the content, I hate to say. So I see sort of why Neistat doesn't want to be associated with it. It's like a bunch of schlubby guys with schlubby beards and schlubby outfits talking about shit that we've heard about a million times already. And it's underwhelming. Sure, I guess the production quality is high. They have nice graphical overlays on the screen. But I mean, maybe I'm old school in that I actually would rather see my news delivered by someone groomed like Ryan Seacrest as opposed to a schlubby guy in a beard. I'm like, get a haircut. I mean, you can still reach millennials and have a sense of style. I'm not trying to be superficial, but it's hard to look at people who look like a freaking mess in the context of a news report. It's distracting. You know, we're basically relearning online all the things that we were forced to experience or that we're forced to develop on television. So Trevor the Great says, sorry, you left that one open. I'd like you to force private my video. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you still Lockjaw? Davison, oh God, you were on fire yesterday. Oh, okay, you were talking about me being in pain from talking so much. I am feeling, I'll be honest, I'm not feeling my best today, but that's because of womanly reasons. My part of my uterus announced the departure from my vajoodle today. It didn't make a vlog. Maybe my uterus should make a vlog, but it didn't. So TMI. Well, guys, you're luckier men. Like I said before, one of the disadvantages of being a woman is having a cycle and that you suffer brutally 4 or 5 days out of the month. Anyhow, it slows me down. It makes me feel tired, and there's nothing I can do about it. I just took longer to get started. I could have gone live about the story in the morning. I chose to have 2 cups of very strong coffee and then get on the story. Hi, Andy. Okay, so we have a newbie. So, Andy, we are talking about Casey Neistat's decision to leave Beme and CNN, although he says it was a mutual decision between himself and CNN and that he didn't feel like he had enough creative control on the Beme YouTube channel. He didn't feel like he was being creatively fulfilled in that role. He felt like it was more of an office job / bureaucratic planning and pushing of paper as opposed to the creative, powerful, expressive reality that he built on his own. And any person like me who will never, literally, I will never work a full-time job at a company. I'd said this yesterday too. You couldn't buy me. The only way you could buy me is perhaps say The Ellen Show wants me to be her co-host. Okay, I'll show up to work every single day. But other than that, if you want me to work as an accountant for $125,000 a year, I know myself, it's not me, and I couldn't go back to having to get up at 5 in the morning exactly every single day to do a repetitive task to benefit the bank account of someone else. So I see how Neistat who was privileged in his artistic success would really struggle in an environment wherein his role was not the creator. And plus two, artists are very egotistical, guys. We like to have the focus be on ourselves and our opinions and our creations, and then get the feedback from you guys, the audience. And if you turn into an executive producer and you're just telling talent what to do, it's not the same kind of emotional or ego payoff. And don't think for a minute that, you know, Casey Neistat isn't as self-involved as any other artist on this platform. I mean, myself, as I said before, included. So Mr. Jaga says, hey, I know what he's working on next. Hey, please tell us, Mr. Thanks for joining us. So Blind Fox says, that's a pretty dope description. I'm down with it. Thank you, Blind. Oh, Blind's right here, by the way. Blind Fox is on the fan wall. Overall, he just likes to work alone, says Andy. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that he's like me. Like, if you are an independent artist and an entrepreneur, you can handle working short-term contracts with people, like with brands, like all the work he's done with Samsung. But if Samsung were to be like, just like CNN, come to our offices and for a year just produce videos about Samsung, it's kind of a recipe for dissatisfaction and perhaps even disaster or a poor creative product. You can't change the reasons why you were successful and necessarily expect to continue to be successful. Do you follow me? Yeah, Neistat is boss material, Danny. But I think that said, he's more of a solopreneur instead of an entrepreneur leading a team. And again, not to make this about myself, but I had to come to that realization for myself. Like, I aspired to be the Canadian BuzzFeed at one point. You can see the evidence of some of that content on my main channel, Davison Video. So I got people to say, show up and try this ear cleaning product, the Smart Swab. So it would take me asking my friends, paying them a small amount of money because I wanted to be fair, and then getting them to come over, setting up my lights, miking them up, getting them to do, you know, the little task of here, try out this ear device, shooting it, and then taking footage from 4 different people and editing it. The whole process is like a week and a half for, you know, a video in which I either was just assuming the director, editor, producer role, or I would show up but only briefly. And it was additionally quite exhausting because I'm doing so many more things than if I just, you know, turn on the camera and shoot my Davison content. So I had to hit the point where I was like, do I want every week to be chasing talent down, to schedule talent to come in, to develop a format where it's more about me guiding talent and editing a piece than it is me being involved and acting in the piece? Because you have to pick and choose. You as a human being or as an artist, you can't do 50 million things. It's just, you'll burn out. Or you'll just produce shit, like bad content. So I was like, you know what? I want to be the Canadian BuzzFeed. I'm not. You know, I'm not. It's Davison Video is about Davison. And I think Casey realized I want to be this corporate leader and artist, but ultimately you don't always have to pick. Maybe some people can do the juggle, but very few people can do it. I mean, any successful CEO, we know them as a CEO. We don't know them as a CEO/entertainer. Perhaps one of the exceptions is maybe Gary Vaynerchuk. He crushes it all the time, right? He's an author/marketer/marketing company owner/investor/personality. But even his YouTube channel is not as big as Neistat's, though I think he is as recognizable by name now. He's very big on Instagram, and I think he's quite big on Snapchat and Facebook. But it's just, it's a question of knowing yourself. And the way that also Vaynerchuk succeeds is that he's a huge team that films his content and edits it. So he's not doing it all himself. But someone like me or Neistat, we're used to directing, editing, producing, starring, conceptualizing A to Z. So to change that way of being and to basically force yourself to get on a schedule, which you have to be if you're going to work with a team, I don't think neither myself nor him are capable of it long term. James says, ponders if he's still interested in technology-based businesses or if Beme was enough to satisfy that itch. Yeah, that's a good question. You know, James, I think that all of us have romantic dreams about businesses we would like to try or trips we would like to take, but it's only once you experience the hard reality of say, oh, I'm going to go to India and it's going to be beautiful and there's going to be saris. And then you go to India and, oh, I got diarrhea and someone stole my passport. Like, not that that always happens, but you know what I'm saying? Or, oh, I'd love to run a business from my home wherein I sell customized belt buckles. But then you don't realize that you have to find a supplier of customized belt buckles. You have to find someone who 3D prints the metal. You have to then figure out how long it takes the company that 3D prints the metal to get to you so that you can fulfill the order to your client. And then not only that, Amazon comes out with their own 3D printed belt buckles, and you're like, I loved belt buckles. They were beautiful, but and I thought this would make me easy money. And then you realize there's no such thing as easy money, and the grind of running a business is far more challenging, especially if you are coming up with an idea that has no proven market demand or success, like a technology company. So yeah, I absolutely think so, James, that perhaps he realized through experience that he doesn't want to lead a technology company, that he's primarily a filmmaker and artist, that he needs to lead his own company in his own unique way, and then that's it. But who knows? Maybe he's a very ambitious guy and a dreamer. So, and a lot of entrepreneurs fail. It's not your first venture that usually succeeds. So I think maybe this is his first huge outside of himself entrepreneurial venture, and we'll see what the future holds. But I think based on comparing himself to myself, chances are he's not going to want to do it anymore. I tried to put together an industry-only video conference in 2014, and I got Unbox Therapy to come to my conference, Matthew Santoro, the Sean Ward Show, a bunch of other Canadian YouTubers, YouTube itself. It was sponsored by Dailymotion. They paid the majority of the funds to make the conference run, though I invested $10,000 of my own money. I ended up breaking even because I didn't sell as many tickets as I wanted to. But I sort of realized in running this conference, ViralCon, that although I had this dream of like, I could be like the Canadian VidCon, and I was, supplying a useful resource that was just industry-sided for creators so they wouldn't have to face all the crazy fans like you do at VidCon. The demand amongst creators wasn't really there. The demand was there amongst marketing companies and businesses who were trying to understand the online video industry. But then I was like, do I want to be like an event planner for the rest of my life? And every moment that I was spending running ViralCon as a conference was a moment that I wasn't creating stuff like this. And I love this. I live this. I know I'm like a newscaster / talk show host. I know myself now. So yeah, James, it's a combination of two things. He probably won't do it again, and but he might, and he now knows what he's capable of. Sorry if I lost a few of you, but the people I lost are no longer here. So Mr. Jaga says, Neistat and another big YouTuber are working on this next thing. What is the next thing? Who's the big YouTuber? Hi, Kagan. Andy, is he daddy material though? What are you talking about? So Brian says, I tried to search for Stream Incognito. I couldn't find it. I'm in Florida. Well, it does look like there are some people here who are new people. Like who normally doesn't come to my streams? I know Mr. Jaga's new. And then that guy who told me to KYS who's now banned. So Sean says, anyone that thinks that running a business is going to be easy is a fool and in for a hard reality. Well, no, they're not necessarily a fool. It's like anybody who ever has a baby. If you've never had a child before, you see the adorable, you see the adorable little photos of babies, and you think that it's going to be about like holding something cute in your arms, and it's like a puppy that you can pet, and then you just like, you put it in its crib, or like a puppy, you put it in its kennel. But a baby is a screaming, crazy, demanding, exhausting little hemoglobin that sucks the life force from your body and the sex from your marriage. And it's only through going through having a fucking kid that you realize that the romance, again, the fantasy is not the reality. So this fantasy of owning a business, turning a profit, buying that big house, buying the Ty Lopez garage full of fucking cars, you know, that's what you get after you spend 20 hours a day working on a product that hopefully people want. And when it's in, you know, when you're in technology, you are frequently working on platforms or ideas that have no proven market demand. And also it's technology that could be improperly developed. It could get buggy. Then you could deal with programmers that go rogue and don't give you the code or fuck up the code. And then, you know, there's just so many things that happen. So I don't blame people for trying. It's just that only once you try do you realize like, whoa, this is a hell of a lot more complicated than I thought. And that you decide, does this suit me as a human being? Am I willing to stick it through until I become a better business person? And also, is this financially viable? You frequently don't know until you try. Then you either determine yes or no and you move forward. Like I've never given up on YouTube because there's like this, you know, I'm in line with my like base desires. I'm like, this is what I love. This is what I want. And I did go through hell and I still go through hell to keep doing this. And I have learned how to improve, you know, my presentation skills over the years and my thumbnail creation skills and marketing and all that other stuff and fan interactions. But had I felt like this was just too demanding for the amount of money I was getting in return, say several years ago, I could have quit. But I like it too much and it suits me too much. And so instead I just see it as like a long-term growth process. And most businesses take like 7 years to reach profitability. So you have to accept that too if you're going to launch a business. So Andy says, wasn't it 10 million? What are you talking about it? Or what are you talking about? Sorry. So Brian says, truth, he did it 3 times, kids that is, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Well, no, I wouldn't change it for the world either, being a parent. But my romantic idea of what it meant to have a baby at 22, you know, did not match with the reality of raising a small child. And if anything, now I know it's like deciding I don't want to be a tech entrepreneur. I don't want to have another kid. I would rather do this and have time to do this and sleep than go through the body-changing, life-disrupting experience of another child. I love my kid. He's amazing. He's 17. He's independent. He's smart. He's well-spoken, but I don't want to repeat the process. Decisions, guys. Life is about decisions. Do you think Beme counts as a success or failure? Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle, right? Can't it be both? And I think Neistat said that in his deleted vlog. It's a success because he managed to sell it to a company for a reasonable amount of money, which was, yes, it was 25 million. That's what you guys were talking about before. So I think he paid back his investors, which was one of his goals. It gave Casey the opportunity to try working in a different way and leading a team and creating a news legacy, which I think emotionally he needed to attempt, as James said. And I think it's led to personal growth for Neistat. Now he knows what it takes to run a tech company and what it takes to work for a media company. So both of those things. And so I don't think you can call it a failure. Just like it wasn't a failure that I decided to not continue ViralCon. It was merely, I had to go through creating a conference to determine that I'm like, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life every single year? I mean, you can always, like the Fine brothers, or not the Fine brothers, sorry, the Green brothers, Hank and John Green, who run VidCon. You can eventually decide to hire a CEO to run your company, but I mean, I was certainly not at that scale, and doing it in Canada with, you know, one organization that could be seen as competition, like I don't think I was ever going to reach that scale. So in what ways did Beme fail? So we'll go to that. I mean, I think that Beme failed because its YouTube channel, I'm sorry. I mean, you know, people could be like, well, your YouTube channels suck. I mean, this is, by the way, this is my live channel. My main channel's different than this channel. But I mean, I feel like I went to the Beme channel and I was very underwhelmed with the content there. As I said before, I don't like the way that they the presenters that they chose. They might be smart guys, but they look like schlubs who are hanging out in their basement. That's, to me, that's like an image mismatch between what I see CNN as and what I see Beme as being. I know they're aspiring to reach a younger demographic, but I think you can still do that with a sense of style. And it's a horrible thing to say, but in performance, you know, the reason why actors are so incredibly attractive is frequently that is not always, but I think the entertainment industry unfortunately realized that people would rather stare at attractive faces for 4 hours than something that, you know, looks less telegenic. And, you know, that, again, that's very superficial to say, but there's a reason, as I said before, why the television and film industry evolved the way that it did, because those things work, and they still work in online media. We're getting back, if anything, we're just taking shit we produced on TV at this point, more or less, and bringing it online. That's unfortunately the future. So it's like CNN with Beme is like going this way, only to come full circle back to what it means to be CNN. AudioVox says success or failure depends on which party you're talking about, or yeah, which party you mean for CNN or Neistat. I mean, CNN itself said that they don't see it as a total failure. They acquired a technology they're still using. They acquired a creative team that they're still making use of. They were exposed to Casey's ideas in a way that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise had they not spent extensive time consulting with him. And they experimented. And experimentation is vital in any business if you're going to stay relevant, especially in media. So Andy says, wouldn't it be an underground news channel? They didn't want to follow the norms. I don't know what you mean. So Game News Ego said, what did I miss? I just joined. We're just discussing the announcement today that Casey Neistat is leaving Beme and CNN, that they mutually parted ways. Casey Neistat uploaded a vlog explaining the reasons for his departure. And basically he said he was creatively dissatisfied and that he was not benefiting CNN in the way that he wanted to, and he didn't realize that he didn't want to take on the role of executive producer who had to get approval before moving forward in a variety of projects. And having done creatively what he'd done independently for years, he wasn't willing to change. So Jimbo Jane says, do you think Neistat might move to a more meaningful partnership with Samsung? No, I mean, I think that he's probably going to do his annual or maybe biannual videos for Samsung, but I can't see him pulling another CNN. I said that earlier in this broadcast, that him joining Samsung full-time in their marketing department would be the same thing he was doing for CNN and Beme, and he was terribly unhappy in that role. So I think he can work as an independent contractor on isolated short-term projects, but not in a long-term creative role. So Peter Griffin says, is Logan Paul finished? That has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Casey Neistat. No, Logan Paul's not finished. Logan Paul is still one of the most famous people on YouTube, for good or for evil. So James says, I think the future of OTT video is more personalized content, not putting traditional TV shows online is enough. Well, it's a hybrid, but higher production values is the way that this whole industry is moving, and it's favored by YouTube. They actually have quality graders that will go through search results and assign higher ratings to videos that are more visually appealing. And they'll bury into, you know, indie looking videos shot on an iPhone, unless they're extraordinarily newsworthy. And like I said before, if you do analyze the data, it's still going to apply that the most simplified, exciting, engrossing, maybe sometimes even sensationalized, attractive videos with attractive, engrossing casts are going to fare better than just indie content of somebody who's, you know, perfectly imperfect streaming from their bedroom. So Mr. Jega says, Neistat's working on a great cryptocurrency project, very similar to YouTube and Beme, but decentralized. Oh, really? How do you know this, Mr. Jega? Crypto. Well, he's definitely going to get make a great return. Whether or not he delivers on that return is is another question, as is the case with a lot of companies that suddenly announce they have coins. What are you getting for those coins? How do you transact with those coins? I think that's already being attempted actually with a platform called Steemit. Steemit has its own crypto that you get every time people like your posts. They steam them up. And I don't think it's been massively adopted yet because it's just another, content social network that has its own learning curve that's not necessarily intuitive for the average user. Like I tried to start posting there, but my time being limited, I mainly focus on Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. So Jim Bob says, have you seen the different versions of his video today? Yeah, that's also weird. I wanted to get to that. I find it weird that there's two versions of the deleted video. There's a version that's 2.5 minutes long or something, or maybe 3 minutes long. And then there's another one that's 10 minutes and 50 seconds long. And that's like, how is that possible unless it was like an intentional leak? Like Casey Neistat wanted the real story out, so he opened a fake YouTube account and uploaded the longer explanation, but also had a shorter video with like, in the shorter video, by the way, Casey looks more exhausted, depleted, and sad. And like, basically he looks off with his like crazy platinum hair, his hair's all messy. And then in the 10-minute version, he looks a lot more put together. So I did see that there were two versions. And when you watch the 10-minute version, this is what I thought too. I'm like, nowhere in that 10 minutes is the 2-minute excerpt that I saw. What? There's two videos? So weird. So yeah, I saw that. Do I have links? Just look up Casey Neistat deleted video leaving Beme, and then set the search results for today, and you'll see two versions. One that's like 2 minutes and 52 seconds, and then another one that's like 10 minutes and 30 something seconds. So Mr. Jaga says, shall I say it publicly on here? I'm surprised no one else has mentioned it. Content creators will get paid in this new crypto. Him and another big YouTuber are working on it. How do you know this, Mr. Jaga? Are you Neistat? Is Neistat in the room? You're very inspiring, Neistat. I like your drone shots. You're very brave on your booster board. Sometimes if I was your wife, I'd be like, don't hurt yourself. You've almost fallen into cars, Neistat. And you basically inspired a new generation of filmmakers. So thank you for that, Neistat. And how are we going to exchange this crypto for cash, most importantly? Crypto's great on its own as a speculative investment if it appreciates, but unless you can withdraw it for fiat, Bitcoin has proven that you can't really transact much in real life. You can't go to the McDonald's and pay for a burger with your blogging money yet. It's going to need more than just the crypto payoff to make it useful. Mr. Jaga says, I think he feels guilty for abandoning his Beme team to pursue this new thing. That's why the weird videos today. It's on their website. That's how I know. What website is it? Is it possible to get super chat and cryptocurrency? Nope. You're welcome to super chat me though. It's been a while since anybody's tipped me. Tip me $25, you end up on the fan wall. Tip me $5 and you become the prettiest girl in the room. The prettiest girl in the room right now is currently Sean, though it was Afrain previously. It's also been Wall Street Tech. The props project Rise app. Rise. Wait, I thought, do I accept Bitcoin donations? Well, I would need to give you my wallet address, which I would have to find. How much would I get for $1,000? No, I cannot be purchased. Although I would paint you a painting. If you wanted to send me a super chat for $1,000, I would definitely create a painting for you, like a nice large format painting, and I would mail it to you. Painting, I could do a body print. I could do a face print. So Rise, wait, Rise. I thought I knew the guys behind Rise. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank. I thought Rise was like a social network for creators, unless I'll have to look after. Oh, Oh, thank you, James. So James, what do you want on the wall? You got to tell me your color. You have to tell me the name if you just want James, and you have to tell me the design. And I'm not going to paint it right now, but I will paint it once the camera stops rolling. So just a second. James is also the prettiest girl in the room. It's true. Purple James random. Got it. Hey, my marker's purple. What do you know? And it's also dying. I should probably throw this out. Look at this. It's bad. Yeah, this has got to go. Purple James random. Awesome. That's exciting. Actually, the wall needs more purple, so that's perfect. Thank you, James. You are the prettiest girl in the room. And you said a lot of great things during the course of this discussion. Assuming genders now? What do you mean that I'm assuming genders? Andy, you seem like a bit of a troll, darling. Oh, the fact that I called James a girl. Oh, sorry. You guys, if you're new here, you won't understand. Yeah, that's what Sean just said. You won't understand the joke. One of my previous broadcasts, I can't remember why it came up. There was someone that we called the prettiest girl in the room, and then my regular audience started to argue and be like, no, I want to be the prettiest girl in the room. So that's why I said that I'm going to monetize the acquisition of the prettiest girl in the room. And if you pay $5, you can, minimum of $5, you can steal the prettiest girl in the room from the person that's there. And so it's kind of cool that you're referred to as the prettiest girl in the room the entire broadcast, and the irony being that the majority of you here are men. It's fun. It's a fun thing. Okay, I do paint. I painted all of this behind me. This is more cartoonish, but yeah, I paint. I paint, I edit, I act. So, Rise, Pops, can you hold on for a second? Because this is gonna drive me insane, guys. Just give me one moment, okay? I'm just gonna check something, because I thought I knew the people behind Rise. Rise 9. Yes, I do know the guys Rise 9. Like, what the fuck? Like, he used to be a YouTuber. The Outback Zach. Outback Zach is behind Rise 9, isn't he? Yeah, it's a community for influencers. And I'm friends with one of the guys on Facebook. Sorry, one more second, guys. So yeah, Alex Negreet and Zach are behind Rise 9. Huh, Outback Zach, that I thought, unless I'm wrong. Also, I'm going to try one more thing, guys. This is just a test. Please be patient. Okay, did you guys just see anything? I just pressed a button. Go to Props Project website. Huh. Thank you, Mr. Jaga. You're being so helpful. What did you guys see when I pushed the button? So Mr. Jaga said, Casey Neistat's videos today mentioned how he didn't like to manage Beme, so I doubt he will have a leading role in this new cryptocurrency app for creators, just like an advisory role maybe, or an investor role perhaps. Nothing happened. Oh, okay. Mista says, you're welcome. Great channel, by the way. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, my decision to start to go live here more frequently wasn't arrived at, perfectly. It was through going live on my main channel and realizing that every time I'd go live, I'd lose subscribers because they were there for a different style of content. So I will still go live on my main channel and be silly there. But I think for stuff that's more opinion-based and talk show-based, it's going to be here. And I think that this channel has greater proven reach whenever I talk about trending news topics because its library is so massive. So it's just, suited that I switch to here. And I realized that I have a love for live streaming that I didn't realize that I had, even though actually I was one of the first creators to create an interactive Google Hangouts talk show called Girl Talk USA on this channel. And I was part of a channel run by Scott Kim Martin that Jacqueline Glenn and Matthew Santoro and Rob Dyke were a part of called Let Your Google Hang Out. So I would just show up now and then for that show. But I didn't realize that leading something like this alone was what I wanted to do. So I've arrived here. It's the beginning. And so far I'm satisfied. And it's good to get to know all of you while my channel's still relatively small. Like when there's a lot more people present in the room, it's harder to address like each of you individually, like Afrain, Stephen, James, etc. And Trevor's new here too. Thank you for saying you didn't see anything, Brian. So Trevor says, cryptocurrency may be able to help YouTubers with the ad loss policy. Well, yeah, I mean, the biggest problem with online media is the fact that ad rates are so low, and couple that with the fact that YouTube wants to pick and choose what videos run ads, and it's never accurate. It's never 100% accurate, and you as a creator are never 100% guaranteed to have ads run. And on top of that, now YouTube is a lot stricter in terms of what content is even allowed to be uploaded to the platform. So all of these things together lead to it being quite difficult to make money if you are relying on ads alone, if not impossible. And to make a living off of ads alone on YouTube, you have to be churning out videos pretty much daily, long videos that run more than one ad and be hitting at least several million views. Like 2 million views is probably the minimum to make like $1,500 a month, which as we all know is barely enough money to survive on. It's like rent and a little groceries and forget about it if you have a car. I don't know about you guys, but monthly expenses for most middle-class people run at about $2,500 or $3,000 a month, at least where I live. So luckily, there's products like Super Chat, like I just got a Super Chat donation that helped me to make money. I sell paintings. If I wanted to, I could become like Logan Paul and have more merch. Although I think also too, Casey Neistat, speaking of, he launched his own merch line. I kind of wonder how much money he made off of that so far. Also, I found out that Logan Paul and Jake Paul each make $10 million a month off of their merch lines. $10 million a month. So that means that Logan Paul probably has at least $100 million in the bank. Crazy. But crypto paying, as for crypto paying creators, well then who's paying into the crypto to pay creators? What is it going to be based on? Is it going to be based on popularity, like views? Is it going to be based on Super Chat like donations of crypto? Are businesses going to pay for it? Are ads going to pay the crypto? Like these are important questions because it's hard to get audiences to pay for content unless it's something exclusive. And unless it falls within the made, paid, or laid triad of things that motivate human beings to be crass. So if it's sexy, they'll pay for it. If it's educational and they could gain an advantage, they'll pay for it. And if it could be like, for instance, paying for an ad to get you more subscribers or followers, people will pay for it. Other than that, I think I don't understand how people would necessarily want to open their wallets. And tipping a creator is sort of I think it falls into the laid category, meaning that you have a relationship with that creator and you want to appeal to them and you want to feel a connection with them. So I don't know. I don't see though an open platform with like thousands of hours of content that's new that people will want to pay right away. And I think that that's been the case for any platform that's attempted to be based on tipping creators only. You know what I'm saying? So Rise will be a props-powered app like Medium. So users hold props to promote content, access exclusive features, and signal status across media apps. The larger the network, the more valuable these benefits. Hold on, let me just think about this. This is giving me a headache. And I lost a bunch of people. I'm sorry. I know I'm tired. Okay, so, and I know we're off topic. We're not talking about Neistat anymore. Users hold props. Users hold props to promote content. What? Access. Okay, props are the currency. So users hold currency to promote content, access exclusive features, and signal status across media apps. The larger the network, the more valuable these benefits. So I have Bitcoin, and then I can pay to promote my content, or I could pay to access exclusive features and signal status. What do you mean by signal status? You mean so I have to pay to amplify, but then how do I acquire? How do I acquire props in this dynamic? You're talking about holding, but what's the acquisition strategy? Are my videos considered mining for props? I got props. I got this Clippy. There's my first prop on this new platform that's going to be co-founded by Casey Neistat. Isn't it attractive? It looks as crazy as Casey Neistat's current haircut. Oh, sorry to diss you, Neistat. Propsproject.com and Philip DeFranco. What? What the fuck? Philip DeFranco's also implicated? What is this? Is this turning into some sort of YouTube Illuminati crypto project? Props project. Weird. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to take out the Clippy. I'm done with my prop. Are we done with my prop? I think so. So James says, I think we need a better way to discover content across multiple platforms so that small creators won't be so dependent on a single platform and they can monetize on their own terms, not YouTube. Well, I think that Patreon is sort of like that. Although if you produce any risque or adult style content, which is not pornography to be clear, so if there's any nudity, because you're not allowed to engage in any sex acts on Patreon, Patreon, there's a search function. They suggest and feature creators, and creators are paid by, of course, the patrons that support them. So I think that that's a new way. I mean, I'm certainly making more money on Patreon than I'm on YouTube currently. I have almost like, I think I was up to almost 300 followers, and then I'm back down to, I think, 275, 276. And the address of that is patreon.com/DavidsonVideo. And I think that Reddit used to be somewhere you could get discovered, but Reddit has such insane rules about self-promotion that it prevents it from being the democratic dissemination of media that it could be. I think Reddit's rules about spamming shot itself in the foot, because as long as someone's not gaming the system and buying upvotes, they should be able to submit their content. And there could be a timer that you can only submit the same link once a day or once every week. But the way that I was demonized by Reddit on, for a certain channel was unfair, unjustified, and I, was via ignorance, and they changed the rules and they outright banned my main channel. And so it's also adoption. We are so already overwhelmed with Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram and YouTube and Patreon and LinkedIn and whatever else that, and email and our jobs, that I think to create a new content discovery app, like it's a huge uphill battle. It has to be a huge immediate payoff. And people have tried, right? Peach tried, Mastodon tried, Ello tried, Discord seems to work, but it's not quite the same. We were forgetting about Twitch too. Twitch seems to be a content distribution platform, and they're evolving. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfectly democratic. It's never going to be that there's not going to be people who try to game the system. And excellence usually, long-term, eventually rises to the top. And part of excellence is knowing how to market yourself or knowing how to pay for marketing when it's appropriate. And back to Beme, that was one of the hurdles Beme faced. Beme was trying to compete with YouTube and originally YouTube and Instagram and Vine, and I don't think very many people want to put their face to their opinions online. I do, but you guys probably not so much. And it's one thing to type out a response to something, but verbalizing it is far more challenging. I don't know if any of you have ever done a presentation in front of a room of people, but you know, most people get anxiety, they stutter, they find they can't think clearly. You know, it took me years and years to get to the point where more or less I'm coherent whenever I voice my opinions to a camera. So that's why Beme would never, probably never work. Just like Facebook too said, we're gonna be mainly video interactions. No, that never happened. People don't wanna record themselves. Like, how many of you FaceTime more than you text? I'm probably guaranteeing that you text far more than you FaceTime because you don't want to speak into a camera. And you don't want people always seeing you. So Brian says, look into Steemit for crypto-based uploading content. You can earn Steem for likes and you can convert the Steem to Bitcoin via an exchange. Yeah, well, I already did, but my hurdle there is that I guess it's an additional labor to maintain a blog, to embed my YouTube videos, and the payoff has to be significant enough. And it's not one bit of feedback I could offer about Steemit is that it's not intuitive how one exchanges Steem for money or for Bitcoin and then for money on an exchange. I feel like they need to have, like, you know, with Patreon, I hit one button and it pays me into my PayPal. I feel like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, there should be one button that I hit and then I get paid out in Steem, which I can then, or rather I get paid out in Bitcoin because Steem handles the conversion. Facebook's in a spot of trouble right now. Their engagement metrics have been falling. They're trying to figure out what to do. I think Facebook's dead. I got banned from Facebook this week for publishing a picture of me with a Tide Pod painted on my lips. And it was completely unjustified. It was lip art, and they banned me for 3 days, which is preposterous because I have this troll who keeps flagging me. And it just reminded me that, like, there's very little payoff for me on Facebook other than hanging out with my network. The only advantage is that I like being able to see what people, you know, I care about, or friends that I don't really ever talk to outside of Facebook are doing and commenting on articles. But if my friends were on another platform like Twitter, all of them, I would never want to use Facebook ever again. It hasn't grown me as a media creator. They keep lying and moving the goalpost about what they're going to offer independent creators like me. They're more focused on watch than they are independent video content. You have to pay for reach. It's just, fuck it. Like, fuck Facebook. And so because I was banned, like, I'm debating just never going back and or putting up a banner that basically says, I'm not available here because I'm not playing into this game anymore. That's basically, Facebook is using us. And they're not compensating us for that use. And I'm not going to be building Facebook's empire anymore. So find me on YouTube or find me on Twitter. Or if you're really nice, find me on Patreon. Messenger might survive, perhaps. I mean, I'm a shareholder in Facebook. I should sell my share. So Sean says, stage fright is always a factor when in front of an audience. Yeah, and like, again, like having a fantasy about what it means, what it takes to run a business, or what it takes to work for CNN as a producer. I think we have all have a fantasy of how we want our witty comments to come out when we record them on video. But then once you hit record and you're actually stressed because you want to make sure you say the right things, all of that vision, when you're inexperienced, flies out the window, and you're like, no, this doesn't look at all like I thought it would, and I don't know how to speak, and why can I think my comment but I can't speak it? So that works against, making video comments be a popular reality on any social network. Is anybody here I lost a lot of people. I think, are we tired of talking about Neistat? So Mista said, just FYI, Props is by you now. Oh, and then they have the Rise app launching on 23rd. Oh, okay, so it's not Rise 9. It's a different endeavor. A bit of a weird structure, but it really looks promising. I don't know if it will succeed, but I'm pretty sure this is what CNN couldn't tell us today. Yeah, I still have my rainbow glass because I have to stay hydrated. And like I told you guys before, oh, we're almost at an hour, guys. Yay! Yeah, when I'm talking for such a long period of time, I find that you can hear too, I'm a little bit hoarse today. I look like a horse. Wait, so how is CNN involved in props and Rise 9? I don't get it. Or you're saying, oh, but Casey, no, sorry. That's funny. I never realized before that CNN and CN contain the same initials. I'm like, what do you mean CNN? CNN couldn't tell us this? No, CN is in Casey Neistat. That's really funny. I was like, what? Because I'm used to, we're used to seeing CNN as an acronym. But we're not used to seeing CN to represent Casey Neistat. That's very funny. So Living Monster says, watch Bob and Vagana video and cry more. I don't know what you're talking about, other than I made a video about PewDiePie getting a forced privated video the other day, which looked to me at the surface to be a strike and a removal. But I didn't realize the other day that YouTube forced privates videos for larger partners. So the strike system doesn't exist in the same way for larger partners. I wasn't crying about it. I was just reporting on it. And I was just saying that it's getting harder for everyone to be a creator on YouTube because YouTube keeps changing what constitutes acceptable content to upload to the platform. And Jesse Wellens from Prank vs. Prank has complained about it. Now PewDiePie's experienced it, and YouTube is also saying certain things are spammy tags and spammy titles or inaccurate, misleading thumbnails because they're trying to clamp down on clickbait that they never would have said before. And I actually encountered another YouTuber who made this little animation, and you can see it on my Twitter, of squirrels, and it's this little song that he made, like the synth song that says, I can't find a job that doesn't make me wanna die. I can't find a job that doesn't make me wanna die. And how that relates, which is sad. It's such a sad song to watch on a work day, and all of us, I think, struggle in life. And this particular creator got a strike, I discovered a couple weeks ago, because he did a challenge video where he blended up a CD, like a CD-ROM, into a fruit smoothie, and he drank a couple sips. And YouTube said, just like with the Tide Pod Challenge, this is harmful and dangerous content that could influence minors to do something that could potentially kill them, so we're giving you a strike. And the guy was shocked because he's not a minor, he wasn't encouraging minors, and people have been doing crazy food challenges and drinking Windex or cleaning solution like Shoe Nice for years, and nobody's ever faced any strikes. But now YouTube is picking and choosing, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, I was playing by the rules, I thought, but the rules they didn't tell you have changed. And, it's very subjective how they're enforced, right? It's selective enforcement. So I think that that's what motivated this poor guy into creating, I can't find a job that doesn't make me want to die. I can't find a job that doesn't make me want to die, which is so sad that even creators feel depressed about doing the job that they love because the platform is just so volatile. I wonder if Neistat's going to experience more difficulty in his return to YouTube. I mean, he has name recognizability, but I do feel if you look at his stats, once he left or quit daily vlogging, his numbers aren't as great. That doesn't mean that he can't have a resurgence or a renaissance. But yeah, he's not coming back to the same platform. Although again, he never kind of really left, right? He's been uploading videos here and there for, the last year, but it hasn't been the same, like the same style of, drone shot daily vlogs. He might upload daily again. Yeah, I guess we don't know, James. Do I know the way? Yes, I know the way. I can't find a job that doesn't make me wanna die. Do you know the way? There you go. There's my meme performance for you. Does that satisfy you? I deserve $2 for that. Yeah, Neistat does have more time now. Oh no, the kids are coming back. No, if I had money. It's okay. Oh man, guys, I think I'm really exhausted and I don't want to be. So I think that I'm going to end this broadcast here. I mean, basically, I guess I can just conclude with I wish Neistat all the best in his future endeavors. I'm curious to see whether or not he re-uploads his vlog explaining why he left Beme and CNN and his role now as a senior executive producer and what that means. He's going to grow his hair out. He shaved off his beard, so that's interesting. And what else? There's nothing really else to say. We'll find out soon enough why the video got deleted. I'm sure he'll upload another video because he's a fairly honest and straightforward guy. If only to say I can't re-upload that video because it violated, you know, my non-disclosure agreement or whatnot. Maybe he thought it was, this is one idea I had that I didn't talk about before. Maybe he thought he was being too much of a downer. Like he was being too negative. So that's why he ultimately took it down. Like he did look really tired in one of the versions of the video, the shorter one, like I told you. He looked really sad and exhausted. So maybe he just thought it didn't reflect well upon him as a person. I don't know. We'll see. The likelier explanation is that it violated an NDA. So guys, this has been Davison After Dark, my live interactive talk show from my living room straight to yours, where we discuss a variety of topics daily. I am off to try to maybe record a video after I get some air. There's almost no light left outside. Hopefully I feel better tomorrow because I feel kind of rough today. I hope you guys have jobs that don't make you feel like you want to die. Nobody deserves that. But know if you're struggling, it might just be temporary, like on YouTube, and that things will probably get better. You just have to readjust and keep trying. So, and know when to quit. Know when to quit, like Casey Neistat, quit Beme. So, sending love to you all. Thank you, Mr. Jaga, for your additional information. I had no idea that was in the works. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.